Hi, ma'am, sir. Good morning, good afternoon. This is my report for today. My report for today is all about ancient Egypt's origin in sports and physical activities. In ancient Egypt, sports were enthusiastically practiced and competitions and championships were also organized. One of the most well-known sporting competitions in ancient Egypt was called the Hebsed Festival. The Hebsed festivals were jubilees celebrated after a pharaoh had held the throne for 30 years, and then every 3 or 4 years thereafter, similar the Olympic Games. The purpose of the Hebsed festival was so that the ruling pharaoh could demonstrate his athleticism, health, and strength, and show he has still fit to rule as a part of the Hebsed festival. The pharaoh participated in a triathlon consisting of the weightlifting, running, and archery. First, at the beginning of the festival, the pharaoh would use rope to raise a wooden weight jed pillar. Next, the pharaoh would run a race alongside a bull around a track 8 times. Lastly, the pharaoh would demonstrate his archery skills using a bow and arrow and shooting an arrow in the direction of north, south, east, and west. Some of the pharaoh triathletes who participated in the Hebsed triathlon were the first dynasty pharaoh, then the third dynasty pharaoh Djoser, sixth dynasty pharaoh Pepi, Hatshepsut, Amenhotep III, and Ramesses the second. In Egypt, sports was born and flourished, and from the spread to Greece, Rome, and to the rest of the world. The following is a list of sports which were all played in ancient Egypt and predated the Greek Olympics. First, archery. Archery was well-known sports in ancient Egypt and was often recorded on plates in ancient temples. These plates show the king and the princess' skill in accurate aiming at the target and their strength in pulling the bow. Archery competitions were common in the 21st century BC. King Amenhotep II boasts that he pierced the middle of a thick brass target with 4 arrows. He then set a prize for anyone who could do the same. Second, boxing. Some ancient Egyptian scenes of boxing as a game were found in the tomb of Mary Ra in the Minia Governorate and in the Tahotep tomb in Skara. In this picture, a player is depicted in a position ready to direct his blows with his fist to another player, who in turn tries to repel these blows. Pharaohs and princesses watch the boxing match, which indicates that it is an organized contest. Third, field hockey. Ancient Egyptians played a game that is similar to our present-day hockey. Drawings on tombs at Beni Hassan in Minia Governorate shows players holding bats made of long palm tree branches with a bent end similar to that of the hockey bat. The hockey ball was made of compressed papyrus fibers covered with 2 pieces of leather in the shape of a semicircle. The ball was dyed in 2 or more colors. Fourth, gymnastic floor exercises. The ancient Egyptians invented many sports, some of entertainment and others for keeping strong, physically fit and slim. The picture dates back on 2000 year BC. It shows a gymnastic drill in which the body is bent backwards until the hands touch the ground. Revealing bodily flexibility, it is one of the most commonly practiced exercise today. And fifth, high jump. Ancient Egyptians practiced track and field sports such as high jump. Two players sat opposite each other with legs stretched, with one player's feet on top of the toes of the other. If the third player managed to jump over the barrier, the two sitting players placed their palms on top of the feet to heighten the barrier which the third player had to jump across without touching. And sixth, marathon. Marathon races were of the utmost importance in ancient Egypt, particularly during celebrations marking the assumption of the power of new kings. One of the rituals of these celebrations was to hold a marathon run by the king around the temples before spectators to reveal his physical strength and his ability to rule using his bodily as well as mental capabilities. History records that the pharaoh, together with those who were born on the same day of his birth, participated in hectic marathons. No one was allowed to have a meal before covering 180 stages of his race. Seventh, swimming. Swimming was the favorite sport of the ancient Egyptians who made use of the river Nile to practice it. The Nile was not the only place for swimming contests. Noblemen's palaces had swimming pools in which princes learned the sport. The calm waters of the Nile encouraged youths to hold swimming competitions in which they could show their skills. 8. Weightlifting. Weightlifting was one of the sports known by the ancient Egyptians. One method of weightlifting was the attempt to lift a heavy sack of sand with one hand, clean and jerk lift, and keep it high in a quasi-vertical position. The player had to stay that position for a short period. This is one of the rules of weightlifting applied till now. And 9. Wrestling. Of all the ancient Egyptian sports, wrestling has the best visual documentations. The first depiction of wrestling occurs of 6 snapshots of a wrestling match from the tomb of Ptolemy of the 5th dynasty. The greatest number of wrestling scenes comes from the Middle Kingdom. The tomb of Baki has various wrestling matches and scenes painted across the east wall, showing different wrestling positions, grips, and holds during the New Kingdom depictions of Nubian soldiers as wrestlers became more prominent, and the Nuba are still associated with wrestling to the present. In the New Kingdom, wrestling matches were staged as part of ceremonies, festive occasions, and to honor deceased royalty. And lastly, rhythmic gymnastics. The picture shows 4 players performing rhythmic gymnastics in different positions. The one of the left stands for one foot, stretching his 2 arms horizontally and lifting one leg as high as possible to the front to help him revolve swiftly and lightly. The 2 players in the middle are standing facing each other, bending their arms near their shoulders while twisting their waist towards the left and right. The 4th player stands on his head upside down in perfect equilibrium without touching the floor with his arms. All these positions are close to some practiced in today rhythmic gymnastics. And that is the 10 origin of sports, Olympics, and physical activities in ancient Egypt.